let's take a look into what is going on in relation to this energy lockdown that people are freaking out about. And I think with reason. I think at the same time, we should be cautious, but you know, we've seen a lot of things in the past, and when they happen in when you start to see patterns in things is when it's like you should be questioning what is happening. And there's definitely patterns happening right now with what we're seeing with this energy stuff and what we saw in 2020. I've got quite a few videos pulled up here, them talking about how they're going to be doing different things, or it's just kind of how this energy crisis is connection to food, to medicine. We'll look at some of the information of what's coming out in regards to this, a few news stories, exactly what this means, and we'll just listen to a few people's reactions to exactly what's going on here. So not to be the whole doomsday thing, I don't necessarily think that this could be a terrible energy lockdown like 2020, but when we're starting to see signs of it move in that direction, let's be on alert so we're not caught off guard.
Lockdown is being introduced around the world. And no, it's not like the 2020 lockdown. They're calling it an energy lockdown. And what that means is that a lot of countries are now putting in measures like you should only work from home. You should only leave your house for essential travel. Airlines are also cutting their flights. American Airlines have just dropped their flights by 5% this week. Now, energy prices are going up, and it's going to become a situation where some people actually cannot afford to leave the house because energy prices are so high. If you go to your local petrol station right now, the prices are already up and the full effect hasn't even hit yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, the work from home situation, that sounds like a benefit for a lot of people. So I can get why
we'll
for
read
a lot
into
of people
this stuff.
That's awesome and that's great. But when you're having governments tell you only go out for essential travel or avoid any other travel apart from essential travel, not great. And remember, back in 2020, lockdown was only meant to be for 2 weeks. It lasted 2 years. And how far is this going to go to the point where it becomes mandatory? Because no one thought that was going to happen in 2020, but it did. So could we go down that same road again? Is it going to be the same as 2020? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below.
That's kind of why I'm making a fuss about this, because this is exactly what we did see in 2020. It just started to happen around the world, like we've seen in France, like we've seen in some of these other countries in Asia. That's exactly what we saw. And then it came here out of nowhere, and then it got progressively worse there, and then trickled down here the same exact way. Which, sorry, this MSN website is terrible. France to announce targeted measures to address energy prices. So some of their things is in the next few days, they're going to announce new measures. They've already taken steps that they're looking at on what they call high mileage drivers, but we'll do so again in a targeted manner. They've been playing with this idea in California too, talking about taxing people per mile. That's been floated around for quite a few years now, because really what it comes down to at the end of the day is control. And we know that this is very clear. They admit this. They just can't tyrannically come in and absolutely take over like in a North Korean style. If they could, they would. They really can't in America. Much harder for them to try that here. They're trying to do it in Europe right now. That's what their whole plan is, with allowing the illegal immigration to come in to collapse the society that way, and then set in their systems of control because of the problem that they created, which is exactly why they pushed the digital ID, because there's so many people here working in the UK, is what they're saying, not paying their taxes because of the illegal immigration they've allowed. And because of that, now you all need digital IDs. There was such a pushback that they kind of had to back off a little bit, but then they're like, well, it's going to be really hard. You're going to have to pay multiple fees and all this different stuff. It'd be much easier if you just got the digital ID. It's exactly what they're going to continue to do. It's all about control at the end of the day. Let's watch this video here.
It is.
Taking territory leaders together again to finally find an answer to the fuel crisis.
Some drastic measures similar to the days of COVID could be on the table as the government braces for a worst-case scenario.
Questions fly about fuel supply.
The anxiety levels are as high as I've seen, maybe with some even higher than COVID.
The further measures they...
See, this is weird. When they start to talk about that kind of stuff, when they have politicians and people on the news saying, it's similar to COVID, it looks like COVID, it's worse than COVID, we can see this is what they're doing. They could very well be moving in this direction where they're going to implement energy lockdowns in the same exact fashion. There's going to be an energy crisis. They did the same exact thing with the oil in the 70s that we saw. There's oil. There's lines to get it. We're running out of oil. We're at peak oil in the 70s. This is how you know that they're lying about fossil fuels, about the climate, about all of this stuff, because they were saying we're at peak oil in the 70s, and here we are, and we're not near it at all. It's insane with this stuff. Yeah, the gas prices is absolutely ridiculous. Like I'm seeing people say in the chat, what's up, guys, in the chat? It's crazy. I mean, yeah, thank God. I mean, there is ways, and that's kind of my main point with all this. I'm not going to say we're in a 100% energy lockdown. It's going to be like COVID. I hope it's not. I don't think it will be, but we're seeing the signs very similar to as it was in 2020. And so we should be on high alert.
They will consider, based on the International Energy Agency's plan, encouraging 3 days work from home, 10 kilometres per hour lower speed limits, encouraging public transport and carpooling, and odd and evens number plate days in cities.
Then governments around the world are trying to push work-at-home mandates to save fuel. Even the International Energy Agency is trying to restrict non-essential travel. Now, does this sound familiar? In 2020, we were told that lockdowns would only last a few weeks. It lasted years. Now, instead of a health crisis, we could be entering a period of peak energy, and that could be just as dangerous as a virus.
It could be definitely as dangerous as a virus, and they would not back off. When just everybody around you is not dying, and I do think that COVID is a real thing that they created in a lab and leaked it, whether on purpose or not sure, but they definitely created it and probably released it on purpose. But if they get the power from peak energy or peak oil, they'll never give it back. They will never give it back, which is why we should be on top of this now and calling them out and never submitting to whatever system they try to put in due to peak energy, peak oil, climate stuff, and anything. Anything, especially as Christians, we should know. And I understand that not everyone's a Christian, so we have to be engaged in this topic in a way to where it's appealing to other people who are not Christians also. But as Christians, we know, does it really matter what the world is going to be like in 100,000 years? Come on, obviously not. I mean, Jesus is going to come back. He's going to reign. He's going to create a new heavens and a new earth. That doesn't mean that we should just destroy earth and be abusive to nature and stuff. But at the same time, it's like not like, oh, a little CO2 is doing this. When God creates volcanoes that emit enough CO2 that equals like the same amount of human emissions for like 5 years or something. So yeah, we cannot give over for our freedoms for their peak energy or their peak oil crisis or whatever they're going to drum up. If they do, we can't. They will never back down. It will not be like what we saw with COVID. They would not make that mistake twice, which is why they're not trying with the disease again.
New world will be dominated by the power triad, compute, data, and energy. Energy is the foundation of everything. If oil prices don't start coming down, if geopolitical tensions continue, it will keep impacting supply chains, financial markets, global stability. This is bigger than the COVID lockdown. This is a system shift. Follow me if you...
So that's weird. That's a news story over there somewhere. Australia saying the same stuff. Just like 2020, what about this here? What is energy lockdown? As war disrupts global oil supply, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and several other countries enforce COVID-like restrictions. Could India be next? This was like 6 or 7 days ago. I think India is next on this list. These countries have been involved in doing this. Restrictions. The Philippines already does a travel thing where you cannot drive every single day and that it's dependent on the numbers in your license plate. These types of restrictions are already in place, and they're increasing around the world. We'll see more of that later. Wanted to read this. This was a good a good tweet or a post, and whenever I show somebody's X account or their Instagram account or something like this, I don't like know these pages or anything. So it's not an endorsement of this person, but this post is a good description. Yeah, no fear if you're following Jesus. I don't have any fear. I think we should just be prepared for the possibilities, because it's smart to look ahead and be ready for whatever possibilities we have or are coming our way. Here's what an energy lockdown looks like. Everyone is talking about an energy lockdown. Nobody is defining it. So let me do it as an energy lockdown is when fuel runs so short that governments stop asking you to save money. They start forcing you to. Would Bill Gates, would the WEF? No, they wouldn't. But would we have to? Yes, they would. We would. We can't let that happen. No driving, factories shut, electricity by schedule, work from home, not because of virus, because there's no fuel. It's already happening. Philippines declared a national emergency. Bangladesh has 3 weeks of fuel left. South Korea is telling citizens to take shorter showers and stop charging their phones at night. The IEA just called this the worst energy crisis in history, worse than 1973, worse than 1979, both combined. And your government is still calling this a situation. I don't think it's going to get to this level, but we're in the infancy stage of this, where this is this very similar thing that we saw before. And again, I'm just trying to do what I can to be on top of this, and so we can all be ready if something like this happens, whatever that means. Food that 100% that you can buy that will last longer, that you will 100% eat and won't go to waste, maybe get some more of that. Don't let your car maybe go as low all the way to empty before you fill up again, because the possibility of these things going higher or something like this happening is a very real possibility. Again, I hope and pray this is not where we're going, but I think we should use wisdom here and the possibility of these things happening. I mentioned this a little bit before. This is, just to be informed. God bless you guys. And yeah, we don't know, again, when all this will unfold exactly how it will. So let's just be on alert for the possibilities of these things to happen. However, I'll briefly read through this. This was mentioned before. These are some of the actions that they want to implement and what they're kind of trying to push. Work from home where possible. Displaces oil use from commuting, particularly where jobs are suitable for more remote work. I won't read every little thing. We'll just read the main ones here. Reduce highway speed limits by at least 10 miles per hour or 10 km. Encourage public transport. Alternative private car access to roads in large cities in different days. Increase car sharing and adopt efficient driving practices. Efficient driving for road commercial vehicles and delivery of goods. Divert LPG use for transport. Vehicles for LPG to gasoline can preserve LPG for cooking. Sorry, I'm not sure what LPG is. Avoid air travel when our alternative options exist. Where possible, switch to other modern cooking solutions. Leverage flexibility for petrochemical feedstocks and implement short-term efficiency and maintenance measures. The problem with all of this is that what they're going to try to do and the levels of force that they're going to try to use to push this climate stuff was just overall a complete joke. And I was reading something today or the other day. They posted an article saying they miscalculated the sea levels, that the sea levels rising. Look through the article, and it turns out they're saying that they miscalculated this thing because of storms or something about like the equator and just all these things again, which is like just science is always changing. And it's just all these things. It's just constantly, we don't have absolutes. It's just always changing. And it's like, they were saying they I thought they were going to try to say something like they miscalculated it and it's going to be in like 10 more years. And that's the reason why we haven't seen these coastal areas destroyed or like the ice caps completely melted like by 2012, like Al Gore said. But no, what it said is that they miscalculated it in a way to where the sea levels are going to rise even worse in some areas. I mean, all you got to do is just look at all the buildings that they do on these coastal regions, all these people, these politicians, these guys who own companies, these people who pay scientists to do stuff like this, all these people are spending tens of millions of dollars to buy these nice, beautiful homes right next to the ocean. If they actually believed the sea was going to rise and destroy their homes, they would not live there. There's just no way there. There's no way they would. All of these things, Miami, Tampa, even New Orleans, which is below sea level, they still continue to build it up, and it's still not a problem there. The climate thing, they're going to use this stuff, and we just have to just like not be willing to submit to their abusive tactics to make you feel bad because you don't like the earth or you don't like animals or something because we don't believe what we know is a lie. That's my opinion, at least. A couple more videos in relation to what we have going on here with this energy lockdowns.
Brace yourself as the great shutdown begins. Ladies and gents, this is only getting worse by the day, and I don't think I remember the last time I saw the leader of multiple countries all doing an emergency press conference all on the same day. We had the Australian PM.
Sorry, that was like what the thumbnail of this video was when we saw the same thing. All these guys came out today and talked about the same thing. The guy, Keir Starmer, Donald Trump, forget who the other guy was, I think Australia, all coming out, and yeah, I'm pretty sure Australia, they were all coming out and saying, energy, you got to be conserving, you got to be doing this. I mean, that's what I'm worried about here. Is this the 14 days to flatten the curve? And then in 14 days, they're like, everyone home now, no driving. You get this once a week. You can drive a few. I don't know. I hope not.
We've had Keir Starmer of the UK. We have had the EU. And we've got Trump as well, actually doing, I'm not even sure what he's going to be saying later on, but
similar
even he's
stuff.
saying he's giving a big press conference about the war. I don't remember the last time I saw something like this outside of wartime events. Brace yourself as the great.
I hope it doesn't get to this, but we're seeing some similarities here, everyone. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Pray for wisdom in these times. Pray for God's spirit and his favor. I mean, I still have hope for a good future and for things to work out and all this stuff. Let's just be vigilant with this. And there's, time, all things work out according to God's plan. The kings of the earth, they make their plans. God laughs because it's going to unfold how he wants. Similar to 2020. Thank God, the Great Reset, Agenda 2021, it was not time for that, and they failed. And so I have hope that we can show them once again, just like with the whole oil crisis of the 1970s, peak oil, massive things, will never get out. Gasoline's going to run out forever. That was in the 70s. We have to be on top of pushing back against their lies so that they fail, and then they are sitting there in their little huts in Bohemian Grove, and they're like, man, these people just keep beating us, and they're not submitting to the Great Resets. And then they go to Moloch to try to get an answer, and they'll never get a good one from it. So let's just continue to crush their plans, which are the ones that are not real, the ones that are bad, the ones that are false. God does tell us to submit to governing authorities when they are doing the right thing. But when they're pushing lies and when they're doing something that's wrong, just like in 2020, how many people were affected by something that we knew was not that dangerous, forcing children to wear masks when kids couldn't even get it. Those things don't need to be agreed upon because we know they're not right. You don't have to go along with tyranny just because it's a governing authority. When you know that the tyranny is wrong and it's oppressive and it's evil and probably demonically rooted because they know it too and they're just trying to oppress people, you don't have to go along with that. Here we're seeing how this is affecting Thailand.
And here in Thailand, the surge is dealing a heavy blow to the fishing industry. More than half of the country's fishing vessels have been forced to suspend operations. This port in Samut Sakhon province produces one of the country's largest hauls. But fuel prices have more than doubled since February, and many businesses are now losing money on fishing operations. 120 of the 300 fishing boats here are now docked.
That's a problem.
The fuel prices now are the highest I've ever seen.
This is the president of one of the fisheries association in Thailand, one of them there.
Right now, we cannot see an end to the crisis.
The government is scrambling to take action. It's now supplying fishers with a blended fuel that includes 20% palm oil at a reduced price. And here in...
I mean, is that really bad for the engines or something? Or why don't they just do that anyway? They created this new fuel mixture that's cheaper, reduced price because it's mixed with some sort of oil. I mean, if that's bad for the engines, then these guys don't want to run it in their boats. And if it's not bad for the engines, why don't they just do that anyway? There's that one young guy who I don't know exactly. There's a lot of people. I mean, there's a few people. Didn't that young guy come out recently? And he was like showing how to melt plastic and then run your car off of it or something. You can run your car even off of burning wood. I mean, there's solutions to this stuff and they just don't do it. And electric cars is not even a good solution because all of those are being charged by coal plants. It's not reducing CO2 at all. And actually, I think there's some studies that have shown that the CO2 by charging them is not even, it's producing more CO2 to charge an electric car than it is to run the gas. I mean, it's an upside down world. If they were actually doing electric cars and then charging them by like the wind, by wind or the sun or something, then it's a real renewable resource. And that's actually pretty cool. But when you're not even renewing it based off of a renewable resource, just because it's a battery, which also takes a lot, and a lot of not good things are mixed in with that to mine the battery. It's like, it's just so weird, man, that people don't know that or see it. LPG is a liquid propane gas. Oh, cool. Thanks. I wasn't sure on that. I think that was that list was a mixture of some of the things, not all of the things that like the new energy program or whoever energy agency put forth. And that was part of their list talking about all these different things, all moving that in this direction about just control, work from home, drive a couple times, don't travel, don't fly. I mean, just control, really. And we even saw it in 2020. I remember watching it on the TV and seeing stuff. They're showing like the ocean. They're showing like fish and in the certain areas of the bay where there didn't used to be because there's all this pollution. They're showing the skies, so less pollution. And they're talking about, wow, maybe when we get back to normal, if we ever do, but you're never going to get back to normal. But when we get to the new normal, maybe we should just take a few days off again because look at the oceans and look at the sky and stuff. I mean, I care about the earth too, but it's like, to oppress human beings in the face for that, I mean, and how that really negatively affected so many people in regards to that. You could see them trying to lay the groundwork for setting the stage for like an energy lockdown in the future, even in 2020. So there we saw how it's affecting the food in Thailand. Only like over 200 of the boats there are not even fishing right now. That's not good. That will cause shortages in fish and food. Definitely will. Let's listen to this. Yeah, I'm sure whatever that is that they're making is terrible for the engines. It can't be good.
Here's how the US-Israeli war in Iran could soon affect cancer patients around the world. And it's to do with something called the cold chain. That's a temperature-controlled supply chain that gets some of the most advanced cancer drugs to patients. It's the same system used to transport other vital medicines like insulin for diabetics and vaccines. And these drugs can be ruined if they aren't kept refrigerated. If the cold chain fails, entire shipments can become unusable. Timing is important. So much of this temperature-sensitive cargo is usually transported by air. And the Middle East is a key hub for the supply process. But the US-Israeli war on Iran is disrupting flights into key Gulf cargo hubs, including the UAE, which have dropped since the conflict began. These airports normally move temperature-controlled medicines between Asia, Europe, and Africa, but airspace closures are now forcing companies to ship over longer routes. Iran has also restricted traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping corridors, which could delay other critical medical supplies like vial stoppers and IV bag materials needed to administer treatment. And for patients, these delays can have harsh consequences. Many treatments run on strict schedules. Even short delays can mean restarting therapy or risking the disease progressing. Experts say hospitals typically hold only a few months' supply of these medicines, with suppliers warning stocks of certain advanced treatments could run low within 4 to 6 weeks if disruption continues.
So some of this stuff, I guess, is coming from this area of the world. I mean, I guess, yeah, some of it is. Just talking about some of the medicine that has to be cool that's being, held back. And I don't even know why Iran, they don't own that big body of water. I mean, I guess technically they do. Normally, like, the world kind of agreed to, like, not own bodies of water, which is why anything, I think it's like 10 miles off the coast, which is probably why that coast is just like not 10 miles long or something. But like anything, once you get past 10 miles off the coast or something, or maybe even 5, that's international water. You can't do anything to anyone else in those waters. Like, they can't just stop an area there. I don't know. I don't know why that's even being allowed for them to do that.
The disruption could also affect the price of treatment. Some cancer therapies already cost tens of thousands of dollars. Longer transit times and constant rerouting mean higher fuel costs and more cooling materials like dry ice to keep medicine stable. Those costs will eventually be passed onto health systems and ultimately to patients. As the conflict continues, many patients may find that the real price of this war will be measured in their access to treatment.
Yeah, that's right. 15-minute cities, that's what they want to do. That's exactly what they want to do. Oh, this is all connected. We see them moving this direction with this stuff. Freeze-dried food does last a lot longer. That's the nice thing about it, is that you don't have to stay so up on that. But yeah, that's kind of just my point in all this, guys. I don't even want to be like one of those people who just like those prepper people who just live like, I mean, say the world just gets terrible and you live like 20 years, like in a bunker through the Great Tribulation. That's not even what I personally want to do. Like, that sounds terrible. So my whole hope and prayer is really that I kind of view it in a way like this. Like, America was founded by all these people who came and started America. And yes, there's weird things and there's all this stuff, but besides that, America has become a very prosperous Christian nation. So much good things have come from it. I love living in America, and that only happened because of the guys who decided to separate from the English government at the time and create their own nation. And there was a lot of hardships and a lot of different things, and it would have been really easy for them to just be like, well, it says here in the Bible that Jesus is coming back at any moment, so let's just go along with what they want us to do. Let's not try to make things better. They could use the same verses that we read today, and even though now today things look a lot closer, like Jesus is coming and the end times are getting closer, but we don't really know. And so whatever that means, I just want to do anything that I can to try to make things better in the world and to bring peace and prosperity, and most importantly, the truth of Jesus Christ, and to have every nation of the world and every person in the world to be a happy, fulfilled, prospering Christian. I think that's the best thing for people to do. That's just my hope and my prayer. And I think that we should fight for that. The same way that the guys who founded our country fought for it. And we've been reaping the benefits of that for all these years. And so I don't know what the future holds. Yes, it looks like the end times could start. We see glimpses of prophecies all the time. But again, if it doesn't start for a really long time, I want things to be the best they can for us all. And I think we should stand up and fight for, our freedoms and to make things better in the world. But most importantly, to bring people to the truth of Jesus Christ, because that brings them a freedom here and also eternally that is just, beyond anything the world could ever offer. So that's just my point of view in it, and kind of my whole mission in some of the things that I do and some of the videos I make, to try to do my part in hopefully making America and the world a better place. And again, most importantly, leading people to Jesus if I can, and showing them that the Bible is true. And because that will do more than anything. And truly a revival to Jesus and living for him, that can change anything in the world. With men, things are impossible, but with God, anything is possible. So there's a little overcap. Some of the more recent news in regards to this whole energy lockdown thing. Don't think it's going to happen. We're seeing weird glimpses. Let's pray it doesn't. And let's just stay vigilant on top of everything they've got going on to, not fall for their lies and have the people fall into these mass deceptions like we did before. God bless you guys. Thanks for hopping on.